Welcome back to the UK's #1 pro wrestling talk show, The Ministry of Slam. And after all the mayhem of the last segment, we're going to get focused and we're going to get sensible now, because we've got AJ from Tough Enough. He's on the line right now. Hey, AJ, how you doing?
Real good, guys. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Great to have you. And we've all been watching you over the last few weeks on Tough Enough, and we know you didn't make it all the way to the final, but definitely hung up there with the big boys on the show. And as we were briefly talking to you off air, it's being complimented by someone as big and iconic as The Rock. That must have been a real bonus and something to put on your resume.
Oh yeah, that was by far one of, if not the biggest honors of my career, and I've been having a rough couple of weeks. For those of you who saw the show, I've been having a rough couple of weeks leading up into that skills challenge. So I knew I had to do something. But I was thrilled. It was a promo challenge. I've been waiting for it the entire competition. I didn't know for sure it was coming, but I just knew it was coming. I mean, it's a huge part of sports entertainment, and so to have the performance that I did at that skills challenge, and to have The Rock, a legend, arguably the greatest promo man in the history of the business, was just huge. I don't think I could have left Tough Enough on a higher note.
Absolutely.
Unless I'd won, but of course I didn't.
Yeah.
Did they ever tell? Did they tell you that they were going to come in before, or did they just surprise you every time with the guest stars?
No, we had no idea who was coming or what day. And from what I understand, The Rock was a surprise to everybody else as well. Everybody else involved with the show. I think The Rock just may have had, a free hour or two of his schedule, and Tough Enough was filmed down just outside LA. So I think they actually moved a couple things around and had The Rock come in, and so I was blown away. I mean, it was one of those moments where, and I had this moment with every one of the stars, every one of the superstars that came in and visited. It was like, oh my God, there's Rey Mysterio perched up on the corner, and here's Bret Hart talking to us about just spilling his guts. And so there was that first moment of, oh my God, look who it is. But then as soon as they started talking to us about the business, it was like they were just another trainer. And there's always going to be that little fan inside me that goes crazy when I'm getting a fist bump from The Rock. But at the same time, to get props from him on a promo, which is a huge part of the business. It's like a young wannabe NBA star, having Michael Jordan telling him, "Nice jump shot, kid."
Yeah, I mean, the whole program, or the whole show of Tough Enough, I mean, I don't know if you know this, Tough Enough wasn't even shown in the UK. It hasn't had a screening over here yet, but everyone, it's sort of been like a grassroots movement. People have been watching it on YouTube. They've been, getting hold of it via other means is all I'll say. But, pretty much every UK wrestling fan is keeping up with Tough Enough, watching the program, and following everything. And as I say, really popular over here, which is good considering it hasn't been on TV. But speaking about the show, and it's obviously changed since the original concept of Tough Enough. Now they're taking on people who have had some ring experience prior to the show. Now, obviously you were on the Indies for a few years beforehand. How did the whole recruitment process of Tough Enough? How did you apply to become on the show?
Yeah, like you said, I've been working the Indies for about 5 years prior to Tough Enough, and so I have a lot of friends on the independent level in the business. And professional wrestling is one of those businesses where word just travels incredibly fast about pretty much everything. And so when it was officially announced that USA was bringing back Tough Enough, I heard about a bunch of my friends in the business that were going to, put together videos and send them in and everything. So I figured, why not? What's the worst that could happen? So I put together an audition video and sent it in, and the powers that be liked what they saw. After a series of interviews over the phone, they invited me down to LA to do a series of interviews in person, and they ended up keeping me down in LA for the entire duration of the show.
Excellent. That's good stuff. I mean, what was the feedback towards you? I mean, we know what we saw on TV and the quote unquote official process of being eliminated and that sort of thing. But what did you have any other feedback from either the trainers themselves or anyone else involved in the show? How did that work?
Actually, we did not get any interaction with the trainers that when there weren't cameras around. Part of the whole reality TV part of the show was if it didn't happen on camera, it didn't happen, period. And so if there was anything going on between us and the trainers, they wanted to have a camera there to capture it just in case it would contribute to the story that the rest of the world saw when all the editing was done and everything like that. But I was able to get a little bit of advice from some of the producers of the show that had previously worked with the WWE, and one of the things, they couldn't share much, obviously, but one of the things they said was I need to put on some size if I'm going to be, if I'm going to be competing in the land of giants. So since I've been done with Tough Enough, I've just been hitting the gym hard. I've been lifting heavy and trying to pack on as much size as I can.
Well, yeah, definitely. I'd noticed on Raw this past week, you certainly had a different look about you than you did that we saw on Tough Enough. So, certainly a bit of a change there.
Well, part of that was also me getting chewed out in the bottom. The first time I was in the bottom three. That was me getting chewed out by Steve. He was demanding that I get some kind of look because he wasn't digging, I guess, the buzzed head look. Like he and some of the other trainers kept to call him the Q-tip, which gave me the impression that they didn't really appreciate my look at the time. So I started growing my hair out, and I'm working on getting that look down because as this did make TV, it's just like you just look like the guy next door. Like you got to get something about you. So I'm letting the hair grow a little bit and growing a little bit of facial hair, and just experimenting with different looks right now. But yeah, the Q-tip thing wasn't working for me.
No, I hear pigtails are very in for 2012.
Pigtails, yeah, that can work. Yeah,
I think the Heidi look.
The Heidi look, yeah.
Nobody's rocking that. I got to stand out somehow.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be head of the pack with that one.
AJ, when you were talking about Steve, I mean, from watching it, man, I felt like I was getting grilled myself just by watching the program. How bad was it being in front of the guy?
It's funny because the show captures maybe 2 minutes of the bottom three elimination process. When that was actually going on, it really took about an hour from the time we stepped into the ring until the time Steve made his decision and somebody did that long walk out of the training center and whoever was left went back to the house. It was really about an hour, and it was probably, I don't think I've had to try so hard to keep myself from crapping myself in my life. Like, to have somebody with such an intimidating presence and such an aura about themselves, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, again, an icon in the business, right in front of your face and just grilling you and trying to stir you up and everything. It is, I don't know when my heart was beating so fast. It was actually, I have a kind of a funny story about that didn't make air. The first time I was in the bottom three, he just starts pacing back and forth very slowly, looking at everybody and looking down at their belt and looking at somebody else, looking back at your belt. So he really makes you think about it. He walks over to me and gets right up in my face and just tilts his head sideways ever so slightly. And I tell him, "No, sir, I am not eyeballing you." And then he tells me, "Were you a mind reader?" Because he said that to Luke just the week before when he was announced Luke was in the bottom three. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a stab at it and just be like, I'm guessing he's gonna ask me if I'm eyeballing it, and I'm just gonna beat him to the punch.
Good stuff. Something I did want to ask about the whole the program and how it was put together. As the weeks developed, obviously people were given sort of roles. We had obviously Rima was very much portrayed as the beauty queen who didn't have any place in the ring, and of course they gave you the nickname of Tumbleweed, and that was kind of your persona. they put Luke was the cocky guy, Andy was the guy with the family who had to do everything for his family. How much direction did they give you as far as an on-screen presence and character-wise? Did they let you be yourselves, or were they saying you need to play on this a little bit more, or you need to cut back with this? And how did that work? Did they tell you a lot of direction?
I can honestly say that there was none of that whatsoever. Nobody ever stepped in and was like, you need to be more of a jerk, or you need to lighten up a little bit. They really let us be ourselves. And I know that there's this, cloud around reality TV where it's like how much of it was real and how much of it was instigated or staged, directed. And, I don't know if anybody was closer to the whole situation than I was as far as being a contestant on the show. And I can honestly say we had zero coaching as it pertained to guiding our personas on the show. They really did just let us be us.
I suppose the real skill is in the editing after.
Yeah,
they let you guys be you, and then they pick and choose what they want.
Yeah. Also, I mean, were the trainers and that, were they more of a persona on camera? Were they different when they were off camera, or?
Well, again, we never saw the trainers when they were off camera. Every training session, every time we were doing some kind of drills, or whether it was Bill barging into our bedroom at 6 a.m. to get us up to go for a run, there were always cameras around. And so we really didn't get to know the trainers outside of their training mode, essentially. And I'm sure, I've gotten to know Bill a little bit, and Steve a little bit, and Trish a little bit outside the show since it was done shooting, at Raw and WrestleMania and this past week at the finale. And they're, of course, they're human. They're not just these hard-nosed, they're not just these drill sergeant type trainers. Like they're people. Obviously, but nobody sees that by watching the show, because they're watching them as trainers, and they need, as trainers and as legends and just professionals in the business, they had to make sure that everybody who got as far as they did wanted it. And clearly there were some people who just didn't, and that was their job to prove to the WWE universe and prove to ourselves who wants it and who doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. What sort of opinion did you have of Steve? Obviously, you got right up close and personal, as we heard, and we saw you, a couple of times have some, really close contact with Steve Austin. But I know there were a couple of shots. They didn't really play up on it too much, but Steve was in the ring working out quite a few times with some of the guys, and he really looked to be back on his game, and really looked good physically. Did Steve mention anything at all about, being back in shape, or, wanting to get some of you guys in the ring for real, or, anything like that?
No, Steve never mentioned anything about, working out for the sake of a return or for the sake of one more match or anything like that. When he was in the ring, though, he looked great. He was bumping around. It didn't look like he lost a step. He got in there with Luke, and they mixed it up for a little while, and they actually didn't show this, but I was actually lucky enough to get in the ring with Steve and work out with him a little bit as well. And, it was, again, one of the biggest honors of my career. But he hasn't lost a step. He's still just got that hard-nosed, roughneck, ready to stomp a mud hole in somebody's ass, and he's crisp and clean, and he just looks... It looks like he's been doing it every day since 2003 when he had his last match. But he never mentioned anything about, gearing up for a return or anything like that.
Did he make you watch any of his films? Because I've had to watch the bloody things, I tell you.
Next question.
I got a question for you, bud. What was your opinion on the final result of the show?
Ooh, to be honest, I would have chosen Luke. Andy, up to that point, had not won a single skills challenge.
Yeah.
He's got a great story. He's got the family at home, and he's a young guy. He's a big guy, so I think the reason they made the choice they did was because he's got his brightest years ahead of him. If he's in Florida, right? I mean, he's already living in Tampa, so he's already in the right place. And if he lifts hard and he puts some size on and gets a good look, I mean, he could be a beast. I mean, he's 6'4" or 5", and he's I think 260 or 70 right now. So he's in a position where in a year or 2 or 3 he could be a major superstar.
Yeah.
But Luke, I can't. He's when he's in the ring, good things happen. And he and I did not get along well in the house, but when he and I got in the ring, good things happened. But I can't look at the guy for more than like 3 seconds without wanting to slap the gel right out of his hair. But I think a lot of people felt that way too. Whenever I talk to my friends about the show, they're like, I don't care who wins as long as it's not Luke.
Yeah.
But then looking.
Douchebag, and I wish he'd just get run over by a car or something. But
looking at that though, do you not think that might be why Andy won? Because we all know how much WWE loves a heel to suffer at the end.
That could be that could be why Andy won. But I actually think that's why Luke should have won, because he's already got such a visceral reaction out of the fans without even having wrestled in front of them.
But then he doesn't need to win then, does
everybody already hates Luke. And some wrestlers toil for years and years and years before they get any kind of reaction out of the fans. Something Steve kept telling us was it took him 7.5 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
So, he had this just arduous journey where he's connecting with people as Stone Cold Steve Austin, and here's Luke out of somewhere in Maine, and he's on Tough Enough, and everybody already hates him, which is why I think the WWE may have, done thereby.
Yeah. Well,
obviously, you got the 3 trainers and Steve all picking Andy, so obviously it was the right choice for business. But with the kind of relationship that Luke already had with the fans, where everybody already hates him as much as they do, he would have made, with his charisma, his look, and the amount of heat he already has, I think he would have made a great WWE superstar.
I'll be
very surprised if we don't eventually see him in the WWE.
I think that's the point, though, isn't it? It's that he has all that. He didn't need to win on top of all that.
Stole my point.
Damn right I stole your point. He didn't need to win.
No,
he had all that, so give the win to the guy that needed the boost, because the guy that everyone hates
is what we were saying
already,
earlier, wasn't it? Yeah, it's that he doesn't need to win because he's already over.
Yeah.
So they make Andy the champion.
I respectfully disagree with how you think about that, because Tough Enough, I think, was about who is ready to be the next WWE superstar.
Yeah.
And Andy, his promo was and he, Silent Rage sounds like the name of a character you create in WWF No Mercy when you're 8 years old. And
it sounds like the kind of shit you have after a curry.
Silent Rage is the face you have when you're taking an incooperative dump. That's Silent Rage.
Oh dear.
It does. Good. He created that on All Stars, and that suited it perfectly because it sounds like a computer game character.
It does.
Yeah, and he made his shirt and wore on Raw and everything, and he's got something that people know him as Silent Rage now, and so but again, I'm a little like Rage is not. I don't know how you can have Silent Rage, pretty much. Like, Rage, and especially if you're 6'5", and he's probably going to be 270 or 80 by the time he debuts.
Yeah.
Rage needs to be loud, instructive, and intimidating, but, I don't know. Silent Rage...
Maybe he's going to be like Festus.
Festus, yeah.
That was some Silent Rage right there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's that. Yeah, I don't know. You've just likened a Tough Enough champion to Festus. That's
I can pull from all directions. But
Oh dear. While we're talking about some of the other competitors, there's been a lot of. You can read lots of things on the internet and believe what you want to believe, but obviously some of you guys are good enough to be, signed up by Developmental. Some guys from the show have been there before. Have you heard anything about, who else has been taken on out of the Tough Enough crew to be part of maybe FCW or work in WWE in some capacity to, maybe one day, be in the WWE full time? And yourself, of course, include yourself in that.
Yeah. This is the God's honest truth. I have heard nothing about anybody, about WWE contacting anybody about a developmental deal. If I had to, guess, I think they'd be insane if they passed on Jeremiah.
Yeah.
He is a freak athlete, just an insane athlete. He can do it all. And, he got the biggest pop on Raw this past week. The fans, I think, already have are already interested in him. So I would be very surprised if the WWE did not take action on Jeremiah. I would be surprised if they did not take action with Luke. As soon as Martin is healed up, because Martin was dominating the competition up until his tragic injury, and he and I became friends from the show, and so it sucked to see him go like that. But as a competitor, I was like, oh, that sucks. I'll see you later. And I'm hoping, with the promo I cut, and doing as well as I did in the ring, and I wasn't doing so hot leading up to that week, but I'm hoping they might see something in me and my ability to get people to believe in me, which was the whole point of that promo. It was like, I'm going to make believers in you and everybody here. And so I'm optimistic that I might be getting a call soon, but I'm not just sitting around waiting for it. I'm out there, and I'm going to take as many bookings as I can. And like I said, I've been hitting the gym harder than I ever have in my life. So I'm hopeful that Tough Enough is just beginning for me.
AJ, can I just ask, if TNA give you a call, what would your answer be?
If TNA gave me a call, I don't know. I'd have to
say you got wrong
number. I definitely listen to them. I definitely hear what they had to say. But because of Tough Enough and because it is under the WWE umbrella, I still feel like I'm right on the cusp of being where I've wanted to be my whole life, and that's the WWE.
That's the smartest move.
Yeah, really. It is. Yeah.
Don't go anywhere until WWE physically close the door on your face, and then look at other options.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions from our live chat room. One of which, obviously, one of the key moments from one of the early episodes of Tough Enough was when the question was asked, "What's your favourite match?" And it was one of the girls. I can't remember her name, unfortunately. But what's your favourite match?
That would be Ariane.
That's right. Yeah. And it was what was it? Melina versus
Alicia Fox.
Yeah, not the
personally, it's one of mine.
Yeah,
one of mine on pause for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, bra and panties matches. That's what you're interested in. One of the questions in the chat room is what would your response have been to that question?
Without a doubt, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels won at WrestleMania 25.
Cool, good answer, man. Good answer.
Now that would have probably put a smile on Stone Cold's face. That's good. I was thinking if he'd have asked me the same question, I would have had to have, knowing a bit about Stone Cold, reading biographies and things, you'd have said something like Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes in a cage in 1986 or something like that. Just to really kiss some ass. That would have been good.
No one would have liked my one.
No.
It's Hogan Undertaker from Survivor Series '96.
Yeah.
Where Flair comes in, pile driver on the chair. It's over. Kids crying in the crowd. That's what you want.
Did you say 96?
It is nice.
It's 91, mate.
91. Yeah, 91. You got it wrong, Mark.
Come on. I don't care.
Anyway, what other questions we got?
AJ, the chat room is saying that you should definitely grow a beard.
Yeah, now we've
got... I can do a goatee. I can do the scruff on the chin, but I'm incapable of growing sideburns and a beard. It's all patchy and it just looks horrible. I look like a hobo if I try to grow in a beard. So unless I'm going for a crazy lunatic hobo wrestling guy look, I don't think that's going to be happening.
You should be Q-tip the hobo.
There you go.
There's your character.
That's a good. Well, see, we've had a theory for the last couple of months on this show that if you're not doing so well in wrestling, grow a beard and you'll get a push. It happened with Randy Orton. That worked. Obviously, it worked for Andy. He's got a beard and he won Tough Enough. Hulk Hogan.
John Morrison grew a beard.
John Morrison grew a beard. There we go. 96, Hogan grew his black beard in, and then he won the world championship. Growing a beard is the key to success in wrestling.
I can't believe I missed it this whole time. All right, so I'm going to get pigtails, and I'm going to grow a beard, and I'll be set.
Basically,
you're going to be called Q-Tip the hobo.
A pigtailed bearded tramp.
Yeah, I'm going to have dreaded pigtails with a beard and call myself Q-Tip the hobo, and I'm going to shoot straight to the top. I'm winning this year's Royal Rumble.
We've done it. We demand a 30% cut.
Yeah. We're going to copyright that right here.
No dice. No dice.
See, I can see some Photoshop competition coming up here with the pigtails and the beard.
Great.
Yeah, we should.
I expect to see some Q-Tip the hobo fan sites up within the
Hell yeah.
Oh, it's right behind Jack Swagger's Train of Fun.
It is, yeah.
AJ, I've seen on your Twitter it says you're a singer-songwriter. Is there anywhere that anyone can listen to your music?
Actually, I don't have anything online yet. It's been a hobby of mine for a long time, and I'm just now doing some gigs out in San Francisco, which is where I'm at right now. So no, short answer, no. But it's going to be coming, and actually, you mentioned my Twitter, so let me take a quick minute and plug that real quick. You can follow me on Twitter at AJ Kirsch, which is just AJ KIRSCH. And you can like my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/AJ Kirsch fan. And any bookings, any gigs, any news, stay up to date with those two. And actually, my Twitter's hooked up to my Facebook fan page. So if if you keep track of one, chances are you'll be able to hear what's going on with me.
If your wrestling name wasn't going to be Q-Tip the hobo, you could be your band could be Q-Tip.
I'm gonna snag up that right now. Q-Tip the hobo.
Your band could be Q-Tip and the hobos.
Q-Tip and the hobos.
There you go. Take it out on the road.
AJ, do you have a favourite band or?
I do. AC/DC.
Oh, nice. Bit of rock and roll.
Yeah, and actually, I got another quick funny. How much time do we have?
Yeah, as long as you like. As long as you like.
Okay. Bill asked every one of us at one point on the show, when we were just getting dressed, we were warming up, and he's like, who's everybody's favorite group? And when you hear favorite group, I mean, I'm asking you guys, what do you think of?
ABBA.
Band. Yeah, music band, obviously.
ABBA.
Yeah,
music band.
Actually, I think Pantera.
I think
Pantera.
You think of music groups, right?
Immediately, yeah.
You think of your favorite music group, yeah. And so everybody says their own favorite music group, and then it comes back to Bill, and Bill's like, interesting, nobody said WWE. And so there were moments throughout training where it's just like, no matter what answer we give, it's the wrong answer. Like, I really feel like, Bill genuinely wanted to see each and every one of us succeed. And, there are times on the show where he comes off as a total hard ass, and, that's his job, is to do that. But there's just some points like that. It's like no matter what answer you give, it's like there's never a right answer. And I think a small part of Bill, I think the laughing man part of Bill got a huge kick out of that.
You should have learned from that point on, any answer, no matter what it is, it's WWE.
Yeah.
What do you want for dinner? WWE.
The most expressive and visual I ever saw, Bill, on the show was straight after you did your promo.
Yeah. I think his exact words
shocked.
were something like, fuck me,
that was amazing, yeah. So fair play to you, man.
That was, I felt good about the promo when I cut it, and you can, if you watch it back on YouTube or something, I put the mic down and I give him a little look where I'm like, that just happened. But I didn't see his reaction until I actually saw the airing of the episode with everybody else. And so when I saw that, I was like, whoa, that put a huge smile on my face. And then to hear the trainers talk about it the way they did, I understood why I left on that episode. Like, I had not been doing well up to that point in the ring. And so it was, and the whole Christina injury thing too. So it was time for me to go, but I could not have left on a higher note. And when I saw the trainers talking about it and Bill's reaction, I was like, yes.
Well, I mean, that's what promos are all about, isn't it? I mean, the promo you cut was, it basically told a story from start to finish. It was linear, and it finished on a really strong point. And as you said, the look you give him as well, that was just a, an exclamation mark on the end of it. And stuff like that you just don't get anymore with these, I don't want to be too harsh on WWE, obviously, because of what we're talking about, Tough Enough. But it is something that is missing from the business these days, with everything being scripted and in you don't get character.
In a world of people writing things to put in other people's mouths.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could feel that was the good thing I felt about your promos, that you could feel that there was, you were bringing up slight truths about what you were saying, and you were using your experiences, and you were using what you'd been through against him.
Yeah,
and that was the great thing.
And I think that's what makes the greatest promos in the business, guys like Ric Flair and Steve Austin and The Rock, and I think they truly believe in what they're saying. And when you're fed something and you look at it and you're like, I don't know, when would I say this? Like, this isn't something I'd say. And so for those, and that's why, again, it meant that much more coming from guys like Steve and The Rock, when it was like, when you really believe in what you're saying, the people will believe in what you're saying, which is the entire reason they're there. They spend their money to believe in what they're seeing. And if you actually believe in it and it comes from the heart, and there's no substitute for that. That's just great. It's just good storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that really sold the promo as well is when you said, I think it was, I'm going to make a believer out of everyone here,
and you pointed
around to an imaginary crowd.
It
was, I think you scored extra bonus points there because you can visualize yourself in a big arena rather than you were just in this little facility.
Yeah, and involving the crowd as well.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it's all
that
about.
was something else that they. Booker T and Bill, all the trainers actually harped on the entire time. It's like, when we're in that ring, we're at Madison Square Garden. We're not, you practice the way you perform. And so we were everything we did in that ring, we were imagining that there was that crowd around us. And I kept that in mind. That doesn't stop when you're talking on the mic. That continues even more so, because you got time to interact with people, make eye contact with people if it's just you on the mic. And I think, like you guys said, it was a huge benefit to keep that in mind when I was cutting that promo.
Definitely. So go on then. If you had to cut a promo about Ministry of Slam, of course, we're the UK's #1 pro wrestling radio show. Go on, cut a promo, AJ style, on Ministry of Slam.
If you're bored with professional wrestling, you're just not listening to it at the right place. You need to go to UK's #1 pro wrestling radio show, Ministry of Slam, where you can grab Lawrence's bag all day long.
That is awesome.
That is epic. That's good.
Man, you got to get on TV. I want to hear more promos, man. You should just go on and just be Mr. Promo.
I just wanted to say, grab Lawrence's bag. I just wanted to say
a lot of people want to grab his bag, to be honest.
The thing that amazes me is that,
I'll take a number.
We're missing, the one thing we're missing these days, and obviously we talk about promos and stuff, but managers. Even the people that even necessarily don't get the chance to go in the ring. There's a slot for them outside, geeing people on.
As the promo guy,
and that's what we need. We need stuff like that.
AJ, do you want to pick a number from 1 and 22, and we'll send you something?
We'll send you a prize.
You can grab the bag.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
Go on then, go for it.
Well, I'm not going to pick 1 because I heard that earlier. 1 to 22. Let's do 19.
19.
Okay,
19. Okay. Ooh, this could be a good one.
Yeah, you have won.
What's he got?
1PW presents some English wrestling.
Okay, hand it over.
If there's anything you can learn from, it's British wrestling.
Okay, 1PW Will Not Die from 2007. It's got, what have we got? Kid Cash is on there.
Let's just point out that 1PW did actually die.
Yes,
so it's a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah, but no, we can send that on to you. That'll be cool. It's a little bit of
thanks, guys.
Something interesting. Yeah, no problem at all. We'll get that off to you. So, wow, 2 Lawrence's grab bags and one of them to a Tough Enough star. That's amazing. This is a first. This is brilliant. Okay, AJ.
I'm honored to be the first Tough Enough contestant to touch your bag.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. AJ, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It's been great speaking with you. fingers crossed from all of us here. In all seriousness, really hope to see you on WWE TV again soon. You've definitely got the skills to make it there. So fingers crossed. And again, it's AJ Kirsch on Twitter and on Facebook. Make sure you follow AJ over there. He's a regular updater on there. Make sure you keep up to date with everything he's doing. And AJ, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Well, hey, thank you guys. I had an absolute ball on here, and I'd love to do it again in the future. And like I said it in my exit interview from Tough Enough, and I'm going to say it again. This is not by any means the end for me. So you guys will be seeing me again. I truly believe it.
We hope so.
Yeah, we look forward to it, man.
Hope so.
Look forward to it.
AJ, great talking to you, my friend. We'll keep in touch.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Take care.
No
dude.
problem.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, man.
Oh, don't forget to email us your address, otherwise we can't send you the prize.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll do that.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.